Hi, welcome to metaphysicmedia.com. We're going to talk about the Deadly Haunting book by Joie Albrecht. I'm going to cover really quick, first of all, the ways you could subscribe uh, so you can get to watch videos and get updates on whenever I release a new article. You can go to email and you put your email address in and whatnot. You get an email once a month with a newsletter, basically recaps everything from everything happened through that month. So you don't have to worry about getting any spam email or anything. Facebook, go to facebook.com/metaphysic.media. Twitch TV, Twitch TV/metaphysicmedia. That's where you can watch me stream video games while I talk about the topic that's on the video and on the article. Twitter.com/metaphysicmedia. And then youtube.com/metaphysicmedia. Alright, so let's get started here. So who is Joie Albrecht and why did she write the book A Deadly Haunting? Joie Albrecht is a prolific writer and producer of children and family television programming. Her resume includes work for Disney, CBS, and a multitude of documentary films. On April 15, 2014, Albrecht released a story which confronts a much more serious subject matter, a real-life demonic encounter. In her book, Deadly Haunting, she follows the story of the Moffit family who were tormented by demonic presence from 1984 to 1990. And that's pretty crazy to be haunted that long. I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably end up, I don't even want to go there. Anyway, Albrecht has said while she was primarily dealt with lighter subject matter in her career, she has always been intrigued by the paranormal world, and in a way she's always been part of it. Since she was a girl, Albrecht has been able to sense things that others could not, and from intuitive or even extrasensory impressions of her surroundings. When she realized that not everyone could see what she could see, Albrecht set aside her natural gift and tried to ignore it. But then she came across a story she felt it simply needed to be told. So how was Debbie Moffit introduced to Joie Albrecht? Through a mutual friend, Steve. Albrecht was introduced to Debbie Moffit, a survivor of the 6-year demon hunting. It all began with Debbie's husband's grandmother, Dominica. Dominica was a survivor of a stroke and was under constant care when she took ill for the final time. Her caretaker, an elderly Guatemalan woman, performed a ritual which Debbie Moffit believes was Santeria. And anybody familiar with that? it's a type of voodoo. And I would recommend anybody not to get into that. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Santeria is a realistic religion with origins in West Africa. The night Dominica died, her caretaker stayed in Dominica's home. The Moffits lived in 3 houses, all next door to one another. Debbie's husband, Bill Moffit, and Bill's father, Bill Sr., were awoken in the middle of the night by screaming coming from Dominica's room. When they went to investigate, they saw the Guatemalan caretaker tearing out of the house, chased by a glowing ball of light. The caretaker was screaming over and over again, "Help her, help her." No, I mean the ball of light could have been the demon itself, or maybe some angelic being chasing her out her to make sure that she wasn't herself infected. Unfortunately, they never heard from her again. The Moffits were left to deal with this issue. Debbie Moffit speculates that the caretaker was meddling with rituals and energies that she did not understand, and while attempting to heal Dominica, she inadvertently opened a doorway to something truly evil. The following morning, the caretaker left the Moffit family house, never to return. Before she left, she warned the Moffit family never ever go inside Dominica's house again. And I would have taken her advice. So, will the Moffits continue to read? Of course, the Moffits did not heed the caretaker's warning. Bill Sr. wanted the house cleared out so they could rent it. So he sent his wife over. She said she found lots of strange paraphernalia there. but she cleaned it out without incident and rented the home to a gentleman and his son. By Bill's account, the man seemed to have intuitive intuition that someone had died in the house, but how he came to that conclusion the Moffits couldn't say. And things were quite quiet for quite time, until a gentleman's son started to exhibit some strange behaviors. Namely, Debbie's mother-in-law happened upon the boy one day planting trees in the yard, and he was planting them upside down. So if you're seeing somebody plant trees upside down, yeah, that's kind of strange. Still, things were mostly quiet in the Debbie Moffit residence. Debbie herself didn't experience any paranormal activity until her husband rented out the home and the other side of their house. They rented the room and used the kitchen and the use of the kitchen to the young man, and they locked one of the bedrooms. It was off limits to the renter because all the Moffit collectibles that Bill Moffit kept stored his collectibles there. Bill was a baseball enthusiast, and so he kept his cards and bobbleheads in that room. One day, when Bill and his wife went to retrieve something from the collectibles room, they were surprised to find that all the bobbleheads had been removed from the shelves and arranged into a triangle in the middle of the floor. Their first assumption was that the renter had gone in to play a practical joke with the Moffits, but the renter swore he had nothing to do with it. This is the only beginning to the deadly haunting that transpires. On a different occasion, Joie Albrecht notes that Debbie recalls being in the home and looking up at some shelving, which displayed some figurines. She thought to herself that, she would have to dust up there because it was just filthy, and she turned to say something to her husband about it. When she looked back, all the figurines in the shelf had been rotated, so their backs were presented to Debbie in the span of a mere seconds, which each figurine had rotated a full 180 degrees. And that's creepy. And if that was me, I'd be, is that really 180 degrees, or were they facing backwards when I turned around? It would play mind tricks on me, but she remembers clearly, after all. Not long after that, the renter picked up and moved. He didn't say why, but Debbie thinks that he was experiencing strange encounters of his own. Objects in the house were constantly shifting around, and sometimes the renter's belongings would appear in the house next door. The Moffits would sneak the renter's belongings back to his house, and before they could even get back to their own home, the object would have come back. The Moffit's struggle with the demonic presence lasted 6 years, and only the harmless beginnings have been told here. For the whole story, you can read about the 11th Spirit by the book Joie Albrecht has created, and you can get that from my website, metaphysicmedia.com/a-deadly-haunting. And I think you guys will enjoy it.